Hey guys, this is Brent from Idaho Prepared, and today we're going to do the part 2. I had the unboxing video. I know the audio was kind of sketchy in that video, so I'm going to go over a lot of the same things that I went over in that video. I'm just not going to take it out of the box. I have gotten to the dry fitting, which is what this process, or what this stage in the process of building is. And what dry fitting is basically putting the rifle together and figuring out where you need to refinish. Some of the areas that I know that I need to refinish is on this brass cap. You can see right here it hangs over the wood, and it does that on both sides, and there's a little bit of a gap, so I'm gonna have to shave a little bit of wood. There's this really sharp edge all the way down the side of the stock. I'm gonna round that off and get rid of that sharp edge. You know, there's obviously some plumb browning that has to happen. Obviously some staining and sealing and finishing that has to happen. But also on these brass pin keepers, I guess they're called, that needs to be polished because you can see the sanding grain in there, as well as on the ammo box and some on the sides and the top of the butt plate. So those lines need to get taken out of there, and it needs to be a mirror polish, something like this. This will get polished as well. But you know, the things I haven't done, I have not put the trigger guard or the front sight in, and the reason the front sight isn't there is because the sights are plastic, which is a big letdown for me personally. But you know, at the price point of this muzzleloader, you know, later on getting some better sights that are more period specific is probably what's going to happen. But I don't want to put in the plastic sight and then damage it taking it back out to do the plumb browning. So this rifle, it still has quite a few hours to go into it to get it to where it's done and finished and ready to get shot. But first, I'd like to before we end this, I want to explain this double trigger system that you see here. Well, first, this is another thing that I have to trim out. You can see on the back here, it'll fit in the front just fine, but it's about an 1/8 of an inch too long in the brass. So I'm going to have to shave that brass down to sit it down in there the way it needs to go. But this double trigger system, and the reason what the Hawken is so special to me personally, and the reason I like it so much personally, as you can see, I do not have my nipple on, so everybody out there, please don't freak out. It's not even loaded. There's nothing's been put into this barrel yet. So the rear trigger, it doesn't release the hammer. It only allows a set to go into the sear inside to make this trigger pull much lighter. So you can just go with the front trigger and let it go with the heavy trigger pull. But that's part of the reason these Hawkens are so accurate, is because of that light trigger pull. You can surprise yourself by just touching it. I have some modern bolt guns that don't have that light of a trigger pull on them. So for a recreation muzzleloader to have that light of a trigger pull is actually quite nice. But left to do, like I said, a lot of the sanding, a lot of the edging. You can see the stock hangs over right here. If you can get a good shot on that, you can see there's a big pit right there where that needs to be sanded down and brought down. I am going to get rid of this flat surface on both ends. I'm going to round that off a little bit. You're still going to see that profile, but it's not going to be this flat, almost like you can see the outer edges of the 2x4. I want to round it out a little bit more and take care of some of this brass. But I mean, you can see this even has tension. The ramrod, it even has tension in there. I have the ramrod spring in. The gun is pretty much built. If I put the front sight on, put the nipple on, I could go out, and of course my pin, my set pin, I could go out and shoot this just like that. It's just fine. However, I'm gonna finish the entire rifle before I go out and shoot. And another thing is, this is surprisingly light. I know Josh held it before we did the video, and it's surprisingly light. Of course, it's a 28-inch octagonal barrel, so it's got a little bit of weight to it. But I was expecting it to be a lot heavier. I think with an old time specific sling, I could pack this around the woods no problem. But yeah, guys, this is where we're at so far. This is the dry fitting stage. The next stage is going to be the refinishing and a lot of the modifying and the filing and sanding. So, or I shouldn't say refinishing, I should say finishing, because this has never been finished before. But keep a lookout for part 3. It is coming soon. But that's where we're at right now, dry fitting. So you guys have a good one, and like always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you.